Hello and welcome to the Black Complementary Therapist. I'm your host Pauline of Pendulum Massage of London. In episode 2, I'm going to talk about different paths in complementary therapies. It's a nice one, I think. Anyway, before and with little ado, let's start with some breathing, closely followed by what's happened this week. So breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, and just repeat. Lower those shoulders, relax the shoulders, think about opening up the chest and just breathing. Okay, so tales should be told. Last week I was at the coast and it was very nice and the weather was great, and I came back thinking, yay, I can go to work now. I went into work and the refurbishments have not been completed. It's a thing. It's sad. It's stressful. It's all of those things there, because obviously when you're working for yourself, you want to do a certain thing well. You don't want to drop standards. So when things are out of your control, it's a difficult one, because you're on the back foot. You're managing your stress and at the same time not trying to pass your stress on to others and trying to hold it together. And that I have done. I've done as much damage limitation as I can, and my lovely, beautiful clients have been amazing this week. So today's podcast, episode 2, is all about working in the complementary therapies and what paths you can take and what settings you can work. So the different settings I can think of are independent and mobile, independent and home-based, self-employed and working from a base, working in a clinic as an employee, working in a clinic as an associate self-employed. Working on ships and spas is the next one as well. Okay, let's go for it. Now I'm going to generalize and talk as though it's only about massage, but you'll get the drift. You can interchange this for any other complementary therapy out there. So the first one we'll go for is independent, self-employed and mobile. Now the pros of this are that you've got incredible flexibility in your working, because you can set your schedule and who you're going to work with. Allied to that, you've got lower overheads because you don't have to think about a physical space. I mean, that is fantastic, to think that you don't need to worry about a physical space to pay rent for or pay hourly appointment times for. Customers who don't want to travel will find you and they will love you because you're going to go to them, and that is superb. Whether that is going to be that you travel to their home, to their accommodation, to their place of work, or to, for example, a holiday location or a spa location where there's a retreat, all of these things could be applicable to you. The great thing about that is that your profits, your retention is all yours. You'll pay out minimal amount maybe for travel and expenses, but that's about it. You hang on to the rest, which is superb. On top of that, the branding's yours. Also the ethos. So if you're mobile and you're doing all those things, you create your branding, you have the ethos, you create your policy documents, you do that work, and you will find it easier to embody what it is that you want from your business and project that out there. And that's marvelous. The cons of being self-employed and mobile as a complementary therapist is that you've got to pay for the fuel and travel, time, all of that. That's all yours. It's costly, but it's not impossible, and a lot of people do it. So it's costly to think about travel and transport and fuel. On top of that, you've got to organise your logistics. So that is planning your parking, where you're going to park, what your navigation's going to be. Is it a stressful thing to do that? Will you find the right place to park upon your arrival? Now, it may well be that you work out all the systems needed to do that when you take on your jobs. So say, for example, you're a herbalist and you need to visit somebody who's in a care home. You've got to negotiate the parking, when that person's free, when, for example, you can fit around their routine and the routine of the team within a certain residential home, perhaps. Or if you're a mobile massage therapist, you need to sort out how you're going to navigate the space with your table. So, yeah, that's a real important one. Cons also is that, say, for example, you are a practitioner that uses a treatment table or uses a treatment futon, that you need to negotiate that the space you need is available before you get there. You don't want to get there and have all that problem of having to, can you imagine having to move furniture out of the way when you arrive on a job? So you would need to say at the time of booking that you need 2 meters by 3 meters space in order just to work. So when you get there, that's what you need. You need to negotiate, how many stairs are there? Is there a creature in the house, like a dog, that likes to yap and bark a lot? Will there be children there? Will there be wires on the floor? Also, what if you have condition and the householder is a smoker, and you may not find these two things compatible with your business? You've got to really negotiate those things. One of the other cons of being an independent, self-employed mobile practitioner or complementary therapist is that you need to think very much about isolation. I call it the Lone Ranger complex, because when you are a complementary therapist working on your own in a mobile setting, you are on your own all the time. And you need to think about how you're going to create and replicate community for your business and for your sanity. Okay, let's hit it. So the next one is the independent self-employed with a base complementary therapist. Right, there's some really amazing pros, and I put myself in this bracket. You have a consistency with space. So maybe you've personalized it. I hope you have. You fit it out as you want it to be. This is your space, your home. I think you should consider it continually evolving, because every now and again you've got to freshen things up and zhuzh things up and rearrange things to fit in with the way that you want to be working at that time. So personalizing a space is a fantastic pro. Reduced travel. So because you're an independent, self-employed complementary therapist with a base, you don't have to travel to everybody anymore. You leave your home, you go to your office. What if you're one of those people who's just round the corner, down the road, and round the corner from your place of work? Wouldn't that be marvellous? Stress levels completely reduced because you don't have to commute far. And when you get there, it's your space. You don't have to change a thing. Key in the door, open the door, it's all there for you to start working. So there's definitely reduced travel, and that allows you to control your day a lot easier. Having your own space is a lovely professional image to share, and people love that. They love to know, I am going to today, and they are my complementary therapist. I'm going to see my complementary therapist at her offices, and they are really nice. Also, having a space means that if you set it up in a certain type of way, that way is replicable, it is saleable and scalable. This is an important one that people often don't think about, is if you set up a space and you've really got it off pat, and then you set up your policy documents, and then you actually set it up so that people can book easily, that is replicable. And if it's replicable, it is a blueprint for increasing sales and growing your business. And it's an interesting one that you should really be thinking about from the very beginning. There are cons to this though. When you work out of your own base, often there are higher overheads, and you've got to think about heating, rent and maintenance as well. Having a fixed location has its limitations. For example, what if the transport links are not great? What if you're in a location that's not easy to reach? What if the fuel bills are high? This is a difficult one. So you need to select very carefully where you're going to be, where you'd like to be. Also, when you're working from a space that is yours, that you rent or own, you have to acquire assets. I mean, obviously, if you've got a minimalist aesthetic, then you only have to think about a certain amount of furniture. But otherwise, there are assets to be purchased. So there may be equipment for you to use, there may be tools that you require, you may need to get furniture and decor. And then there's the consumables as well that you require for your work and cleaning resources. So these all add up the bills. You'll have less flexibility when only compared to somebody who's mobile, I suppose, but there will be less flexibility because you'll need to think about set hours, booking systems, and ways to accommodate your client as well. So, say, for example, seating and stuff. So, there's less flexibility there because you'll need to be thinking about all of those things. So, working for an off-site company that delivers complementary therapies, there are some big employers out there and there are some small fry as well. And one needs to be mindful of that. So, say if you're working for one of the big ones, like, I don't know, Urban Massage, you're an Urban Massage hero, you know that there are definitely some pros to working with a company like that. So, say, for example, one of the pros is that you don't have to do any marketing for yourself. In fact, they'll do it all for you. They'll give you a link. So once you've gone through the selection process, which much of it's online, you may have to go in to show your skills, obviously. And then once you've got your DBS sorted and they know you're insured and they've seen your certificates, then they'll onboard you and they will take care of your marketing. And they do that by adding your listing to the website. They'll give you a biog. You'll provide them with the biog, more like. And then there's a link that they give you that you can use to encourage people to rebook with you. And that is like a URL, which you can add to your social media and your website if you have one, if you decide to go that route. When you are employed by a company like this, there's no admin. They do all the marketing. All you do is follow their rules, make money by getting bookings or doing the bookings, and then you get a review, they're happy, you provide the service with very little admin. I think maybe a quick consultation form at the start of the treatment, and that's it. This type of employment has lower risks and no overheads. It can give some financial security in that as long as you're happy to work those hours that are the most profitable, you're going to make money. If you're going to limit yourself to daytime work, it may well be certain complementary therapies are okay to deliver in the daytime, but massage is one of those complementary therapies that people prefer to have after work, at the end of the day, before sleep, at the weekends, and it can start eating into your life. But the pro is that there's more financial security that way. One of the other things that's really good about these companies is that they can offer training, maybe at a reduced rate more than likely, that rather than they're going to pay for it. You'd be lucky if you get anything for free these days because they'll see it as a valid income stream. So it's likely you'll pay, but it'll be less so. So say, for example, they might pay a small amount or contribution towards you doing CBD training, CBD massage training. Great, fantastic. But then that treatment can come with a premium, so it's handy for later on if you decide you want to work for yourself. That's one of the things you'll be able to offer because of that. Cons of working for a mobile company are that the wages are a bit lower than you probably would get if you worked for yourself and did mobile. However, you would definitely need to take on the advertising, the administration, and all of those things for that premium return on bookings. There's less control over your hours when you work, which isn't so great because you need to work when there is demand in the evenings at weekend. When you work for a company like that, there's no branding freedom. They suggest you wear black, they suggest the way you work, they name the types of treatments that you are going to offer. They are very specific about presenting a cohesive offering for their customers, and their customers are your clients, but they're not your clients, they're their clients. You are the worker, you do the work for them. finally, regular clients rebooking. They do encourage you to rebook, but they're not your clients, they're their clients, and there is the rub. Okay, so next is employed in clinic or spa. So you're an employee, you get paid a regular salary or a fixed commission. Now, compared to self-employment, you're going to get less. Employed in clinic or spa. Well, the pros in that is that you get a regular salary, which is wonderful. There are no overheads for you to worry about because your boss pays all of them. There's no I in team, in that you're working in a team when you work for a clinic or spa, and that's wonderful. There's can be a collegial atmosphere, and that is a good thing. And you can get on with the job of massage. No headaches about, I've got to think about how much am I making, the banking, oh my gosh. You just get on with the job. None of that stressful self-employment malarkey to deal with. Cons are that the wages are capped. Unless you're an associate or they run a bonus scheme, chances are you get tips, so that would be the plus side of it, but cons are that your wages are lower. Also, another con is that there's less flexibility unless you have a say in scheduling, which would be like Viva la Revolution, no? That would be interesting. Definitely less autonomy when you're working for a spa or a clinic because they set the rules, they set the policies, and you follow them. In summary, let's go back. Independent mobile offers flexibility, low cost, but your organised logistics and may have less of a network around you simply because you are out there as the Lone Ranger. An independent complementary therapist with a base, so you control your branding, your operations, but you're going to pay your bills. And you'll only be in one place until you can work out how you can be in more, perhaps having to rent spaces elsewhere. Working as a mobile practitioner, for example, like a company Urban, there's a steady stream of clients. If you've got good scores in your reviews, you've got less admin, you'll get lower pay, but then you're going to have the work coming to you without all that hassle of trying to find clients yourself. Working in a spa or clinic offers greater stability. You've got a team setting, but wages are going to be lower and you've got less control of what you're doing over your time. So there's lots to think about with those there. It's essential for you to really consider where you'd like to work as a complementary therapist. Maybe I haven't remembered everything. When I did my notes, it's just a case of trying my best to cover all the bases there. I found a setting that most resonated with me, and I hope that if it's something you're considering doing, that you find a setting that is most resonant for you. Okay, with little ado, I shall say thank you for listening to the Black Complementary Therapist. I'll include some show notes to things. I've got a link there for Urban Massage if that's one of your things. Obviously, it is an affiliate link, so if you go for it, there's something in there for you and for me. Okay, I'll sign off. Take care wherever you are. It's nice to be needed, and I'll see you in 14 days with the next episode. Bye for now.